Now in its 10th year, this is Gabnet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Ain't got Hey everybody, live from Harlem in New York City. It's Alex and it's the Ramble. Guess who's back from her long voyages across the seas and around your block?
Well, I'm dizzy.
It's
just from that
Lori
intro.
Thompson.
Hi.
Hmm.
Yes, it is nice to be back. It's fun to be gone. Nice to be back. You know, that old cliche.
Well, you know,
It's
how
true.
long were you gone now? How long were you
We
on
were
here?
gone for just about 4 days shy of a month.
Okay.
So,
I
yeah.
find more than 3 weeks drives me batty.
Well, it didn't drive me batty, but we had enough misadventures along the way to keep us distracted, if not entertained.
What do you mean
So-
misadventures? I mean, this seems to indicate not all went well.
Well, it was going really, really well until
Okay, well,
the-
let's first of all, just to put people in the frame of mind,
yes.
let's start from the beginning. You were going to where? Starting off, you're going to Lisbon and taking off from there, right?
Yeah, Lisbon, Portugal, which is wonderful. Loved it.
I
And-
hear Portugal's terrific.
It is.
I've never
and you
been
read-
there.
Oh man, you'd like it. And I'd read a lot about the tile, how tile tells the history of Portugal, and as a tile is almost a means of communication, like written history in Portugal. It almost has that much significance.
Oh, wow.
Because yeah, it's great because in the churches, the tiles are not just beautiful, but they tell stories. And so I knew that, and I thought, wow, that is a really different, unique, unknown to me until now, form of communication
Right.
and a form of handing down folklore and things like that. So
Mhm.
Lisbon was a blast.
Yeah.
But then, you know, I have a sodium issue. My sodium's real, real low. If it gets too low, below 122, it makes me hallucinate.
Makes you hallucinate?
Well, yeah, not like I want to, like, oh, there are 5 pigs on the lawn. I think I'll shoot them with my musket. Not that kind of hallucination. But I tend to lose track of where I am. And not for long, but like for 15 to 20 minutes, which can really throw you from the inside because you don't know what's going on. You think you're just interacting to everything as is, and you know you've got one shoe on. So it's a really scary situation.
Have you had a doctor analyze this and everything? Okay, so you know
Yeah,
this
like-
is an existent condition. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
so that
See, this is what happens when old people get together. They talk about what's wrong with them. You know.
But no, that's why I want to gloss
When I
over
was
that.
when I was in my 20s, we get together and talk about who we got laid with.
Right.
You know, and
Yeah.
what it was like, and what a good time we had, and whatever, and never health.
No, never. And see, I don't like to dwell on it because I vowed never
No,
to be
but
one of
as
those
you get
people.
older, you got to talk about it. It's your life.
Yeah, it was, and it's weird, and I don't notice it as much as my spousal unit does, because Ricky said, "Are you okay?" And he said, "It's like you're just not making any sense." And to me, everything makes sense, but it's
Mhm.
just kind of there's a gauze tarp thrown over everything,
Yeah,
and I'm like, blah blah blah.
and it
So
only
that-
lasts about 20 minutes or something.
Yeah, but then it can like happen again in an hour for another 20 minutes. It's really weird.
Yeah.
And so, and that just means grab some Gatorade. But we found these great things in Europe, which I'm sure they have at CVS, but I just drink Gatorade constantly from the moment I wake up here in the States, and it keeps it at bay.
Yeah.
So we really hit on those high electrolyte powders, and they sell them in Europe. Just look for the big green cross, and you can find them anywhere. So we examined that route, and from there everything was fine.
Yeah.
But Azamara has this big thing, they call it White Nights, and it's where the entire crew gets out and serves you this sumptuous buffet, lobster as much as you want. Just a really cool event with music, and it's just a really cool
Wow.
thing. And I
Yeah.
was, so I was going to that. So you think about it, you got like this overload of stimuli, you got crowds, you got loud music, you got everything, which if you're in a hallucinatory, low sodium state, just makes everything like, wow, the lights are right here, just makes everything ecstasy. And so once we got that under control, then the weather kicked in, and it was just ridiculously cold and rainy. There's a difference between rain and cold rain that's in your face and hits you
Yeah,
and smacks you
yeah,
every step.
yeah.
That's what it was.
And
so,
it's for instance, if it rained right now where you are, and
Yeah.
it is windy, it looks windy out there.
it
Would be a
breezy, yeah.
different feeling than if the same thing happened to you in Portugal.
Yes.
Okay,
exactly.
because weather is different everywhere, and its
Everywhere.
manifestations are as well.
Yeah, and that's been one of the most fascinating things to me as we've traveled more is the weather, how it fluctuates and means different things in different places,
Mhm.
in a forecast, and also just the brand names change for things, But one thing that's very popular and remains the same: Kit Kat. It's
Kit
all
Kat?
over here. Everybody, Europe loves their Kit Kats. But other things, not just because of the language change, but other brand names. Same logo, same everything, but they call it something you've never heard of, like an almond joy or something like that.
Well, like for instance, in Europe, Coca-Cola, Coke Zero or Diet Coke, is called Coke Light.
Really? Now, I thought you were going to say Coke Nada.
No, it's called Coke Light because in Europe the word diet kind of means death.
Ooh.
Ooh, so
yeah.
you don't want to go on a diet. You
Yeah.
know? Especially if you're older, you don't want to go on a diet. It's death.
Right. That would be a one-time diet.
Yeah, so
but-
they name it Coke Light over there.
Oh, yeah, there are a lot of
And I imagine
variations.
Coke Zero probably is Coke Zero over there because that's
Probably.
not a terrible term,
Yeah, and I just noticed the changes. I love the changes in people. There's a lot more patience when you get into the smaller towns in Italy, Spain, and France.
Yeah.
A lot more, and I like that slow pace. See, my husband is
Oh, I love Spain,
I know.
and
you
I
do.
took you to Spain. I took you to Ibiza.
Yeah.
The greatest thing there, and they still do it. They tried to do away with it, but they couldn't get the rest of the country to get on board. Is siesta.
Oh, yeah. That's a great.
And so at 1 o'clock, everybody knocks off work,
Mhm.
and until 4:30, it's siesta. Now that doesn't necessarily mean you go to sleep. People hold parties. People hold meals, big meals.
Salons.
It's kind of like what we would call dinner time here.
Yeah. Or high tea in England. Yeah. It's just.
It's a wonderful, wonderful thing, and it was created because. Okay, it was created because of what everything is created for: sex. If you
Not
have
weather.
if you have sex first thing in the morning, you're not really up to it. You're
Right.
still tired and everything, grouchy. And when you come home, you don't want sex because you've worked all day. You're exhausted, right?
That's right.
So siesta
Yes.
was created in the middle of the day for people to go home and have sex.
Oh, nookie break.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's-
it was caused out of a sexual necessity.
Oh, yeah, because, when you wake up, you're like, oh, I can do so much better than this. Meet me at noon. Yeah, and
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
right. Yeah, that makes
And
complete sense.
and really it was just wonderful. And everything closes down except
Yeah.
for one pharmacy. One pharmacy always stays open so that in case there's a medical emergency, people
Like
can
you need
have
Viagra.
access to it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's what I just like. That concept of siesta is not as adhered to as it used to be, like when you and I were there.
Mhm.
And that's probably for everything. Bottom line is money, probably for business reasons.
Yeah.
Now everything pretty much stays open all day, but that's a great tradition. I agree with you.
It's a
Siesta
great
should be-
tradition, and I was always very fond of it. I always took siesta very seriously.
Yes, I bet you did.
You know.
And well, when we were in Monte Carlo, I loved Monte Carlo, Monaco, San Tropez. We went into the casino in Monaco.
Yeah.
It doesn't open until 2 though, and you have to pay
Did
$18 just to get
you
in.
didn't go to the main casino because I don't think you can walk right into the main. You can see it, but
You but yeah, but you have to jump through some
there
hoops to
are
get
the
in.
small. They have smaller casinos there.
Yeah, there, and then there's one right beside the big one you see in the James Bond flicks.
Yeah, but that
Yeah,
one is a very fancy one,
it is a
and
very
not
fancy one.
everybody can get in there.
Right. There's a dress code, and you have to pay. It's $18 if you just want to look at what they have on the floor.
Yeah,
You know,
and,
and
but
then if you,
also at Monaco, outside. I don't know if it was there when you were there. Are all these really expensive cars?
yes, yes. You
Everybody,
see,
if you got an expensive car, they'll park it for you right in front of the. I don't know what they call the casino, but you know.
we've got pictures of it. We just called it the casino
Yeah, I mean,
because it's
I've been there dozens of times, and in fact, I had a hotel I stayed at called Capistel, which was right on the water, about a couple of miles away from Monte Carlo.
Uh-huh.
And it was great. It was like an old Russian villa, and it had been turned into a hotel, and it was just
Oh,
wonderful,
it's
wonderful.
in Monte Carlo, and I was kind of set not to be impressed with Monte Carlo and Monaco because of their reputation, for wealth and elitism and kind of exclusionary. And I hate that in culture. But I love Monte Carlo.
Yeah, oh
Loved
yeah.
it.
No, it's very nice. And what's interesting about it is the density of the city.
Oh yeah.
It because it is only a couple of
Two
square
miles.
miles or something.
Yeah.
And so they wanted to be able to build homes and have places for people to live and so on and so on. Everything is like it's like compressed together,
Yeah.
and they're
And
on
they
hills, and
yes.
you have the Bosch Corniche, which is the bottom road, and then there's another Corniche, which is a middle road, and then there's the high road where Grace Kelly, of course, drove and killed herself. So
Yeah, now see the rumor, and I tried to get I asked of a couple tour guides, what's the real scoop? Was Grace driving and she was hammered, and Stephanie took the hit? Her daughter Stephanie, youngest daughter Stephanie, was with her, and there were rumors around that time that Grace had developed a bit of a tippling problem, like a lot of fine people we know. And
yeah.
and Stephanie um, switched places, or the official word was that Stephanie was driving, but the tour guide wouldn't give it up. Very, just kind of danced around the topic.
Well,
But
that's royalty, right?
yeah,
Even
yeah,
if it's
and they,
one,
oh,
even if it's like a couple of square miles, it's royalty.
exactly. And then we saw where she was buried, or where she's interned. Yeah, I don't think she's buried.
Yeah, and
Um,
then they have a race every year there.
it's going on this coming month. It's going on in May. We got to trace the course on one of our
It's in
tours.
the middle of the city. I mean, it has to go through the city.
Yeah, because they were just finishing putting up the bleachers, and we got to go on 2 legs of the actual route.
Uh-huh.
No hairpin turns. We didn't do the hairpin turns, but it was a blast. It was the best time to go to Monte Carlo.
Yeah.
Because he said, the tour guide said that if you go in May, expect to feel like sardines, because there are so many. I think a couple of them only happen every 2 years, but they have so many things going on in the month of May in Monte Carlo. As a rule, like I say, every other year.
Yeah.
Don't expect
Yeah,
to
well,
get
of course, I have a hard time walking now, so I don't know how much of that I could make.
Yeah. Have you checked for compression fractures in the
No,
back?
no, this all
No.
has to do with what do you call it?
Too much boning?
Neuropathy, and also my balance. My sense of balance is off, so I walk with a cane, not because I need it for pain or whatever, which or because one leg doesn't work or the other. I only for balance.
Yeah.
And Marjorie does it too. We're 2 old people with our walking sticks.
But you probably look very dapper. It's like, oh, look at that elegant couple with
Yeah,
their
but I have a
walking
great
stick.
fear of walking now. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. So
Once you
those,
take 'em-
I don't know how much of Monaco I could see now. I used to run around and I think I've been there maybe 4 or 5 times. I mean, every time I've been
Yeah.
in Europe, I wind up in Monaco, and I don't know why that happens.
Because it's just fun. But you can take what they call a tuk-tuk tour, which is essentially, it's a lot like a golf cart,
Oh,
but
okay.
you can get them for just 2 people, and it's kind of like a private tour if you get a good tour guide. So I don't mind the tuk-tuk so much, because they kind of felt like cheating at first, but the more I got tired of walking, it was like, yeah, one of those
Yeah,
tuk-tuk
yeah.
tours.
I mean,
yeah.
look, if you're going to see this stuff, why put yourself in great pain? You know,
Exactly.
exactly. Well,
And
I'm
see,
going to walk. I don't care if I
Well,
feel horrible doing it, but no. dude,
that's my hardcore husband is like that. I mean, I'm just like, you just don't get it, do you?
yeah.
Fractures are breaks in your back.
Well, we're going to have enough money very soon to be able to hire somebody to drive us around. You know, things
And
like that.
That's what we did in Barcelona, and was it Barcelona?
Barcelona. I
Yeah.
love that city. I
I love
love
that
that
city.
city.
It's
But
still fab.
did you left your purse at home, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
left it in the-
It's probably still they got purse snatchers like crazy.
I've heard that.
And please, for the sake of not suing me for sexism, I said snatch in a different context.
But now the feminists will say snatch, but he said it in a sentence with purse. He's anti-feminism.
Did you
Yeah.
snatch your purse? Anyway, so I love Barcelona. I mean,
Oh,
it's just a magnificent city.
And it still maintained that
Well,
Olympic
yeah.
appeal and cleanliness.
Well, we were
and
there
stuff.
together
Yeah, I know.
when we
Yeah,
went to the Olympics with Coca-Cola.
And I
that's
did a lot-
it was after that I got us on a plane and took us to Ibiza so you could see
Yes.
Ibiza. And you saw it before it became the thing to do.
Yeah. Because
know.
actually, the tour guide in Monte Carlo said Monte Carlo used to be the thing. Now Ibiza is the thing.
Yeah. And Ibiza I don't want to go near, okay? And I love Ibiza. Just love it.
Well, last time I was there, they did have the amnesia, the foam disco,
Uh-huh.
where you just
Yeah.
dance all night on ecstasy and then they hose you off. They did have that. But I think when ecstasy hit Ibiza, and with good reason, its cachet as a party spot zoomed. Because you can just dance all night.
Yeah, but it's also, when I went there, only the very brave went there. When I first went there, I landed at nighttime, and my friends picked me up and took me to the center of town, which is the old town.
Yeah.
And there's a big hill, and then at the bottom is the old town. And the first thing I saw was a dog eating a cat. And I realized I must be someplace very dangerous. And it was. I mean, it was something like out of Casablanca at like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock every night. This guy named El Rubio, the blonde one, would come in with his goon thwacking a belt in his hand and
Whoa.
and start checking everybody's passports
Whoa.
to
So
make
it
sure
still had
they were legitimate. And then it kind of chased people out of the club, which kind of they paid El Rubio to do so people would feel uncomfortable and leave the club at like 11 o'clock at night so they could go home and, go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah, so it still had some rustic charm.
But
with
it
dogs.
had that kind of Casablanca, because
Feel.
and Franco was still in power, so you felt
Yeah.
it. You felt
Yeah.
it everywhere. But there was something about that by living on the edge that
The
made it
demigod.
so exciting and so vibrant.
Yeah.
And I mean, and the people I knew there were all expatriates from America, and some of them were drug dealers, because the Ibiza was kind of the place where a lot of the drug dealers, smugglers, resided and ran their drugs from, where was it, from Africa or wherever.
Years or
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the country, to Marseille,
uh-huh.
and then they would orchestrate the whole thing.
That was the French
And
Connection.
also, I briefly saw Elmire Dahori, who was the world famous art forger.
Yes, yes, yes.
And he wound up in jail in Ibiza.
While you were
Finally,
there.
after years and years of them trying to nail him, they finally nailed him. He wound up in the, and he, I think he died in the jail or committed suicide. I can't remember which. But this guy, there's still paintings he's forged in museums around the world that they don't know are Dahori's.
Yeah.
And what he did, he was very smart. It wasn't like he said, "Oh well, I'm going to do Starry Night by Van Gogh." He would do a painting in the style of Van Gogh.
Right, a long lost.
Yeah, and so it became a long lost object and painting. You know, and that's how he was a great art forger.
Yes. Well, it seemed like Ibiza was a center for forging of art items because didn't Clifford Irving,
wrote the book about
book.
about what's
Howard
his name?
Hughes.
Howard Hughes. Yeah.
And it was a bestseller, and Irving was celebrated on all the talk shows. Big one on the Dick Cavett
I used
show.
to date Clifford Irving's nanny.
Really?
Took care of his kids. Yeah, she knew him quite well. Yeah.
Well, that was he went to prison for that, didn't he?
Yes.
I think.
Yes,
Yeah.
for a short time. You know.
Yeah, look it up. Google it. Clifford Irving. It was a big deal at the time.
Clifford Irving did it to, what can I call, impress Elmire Dahori.
Oh.
In other words, he wanted to show he could do a kind of forgery, and was trying to impress Elmire, who basically was his guy, you know. So.
Yeah. So it was a mecca for forging.
Yeah. So it was a very just dangerous place to be, and you loved it. You saw how good it was, and there were some tourists, but it wasn't that kind of thing. You know, you had a disco, but not that many people went. You know, now it's just I've seen videos of it. You don't want to get near that place. You know?
Well, you know, last time I was there, and this would still have been in the 90s, probably the mid to late 90s. I loved it so much when you and I were there. I went back with a friend of mine, and we were just knocking around, and we met this cool couple, these two gay guys from Georgia, Atlanta, and we were just palling around with them all night, and they took us upstairs to a room with all the lights out, filled with nothing but guys. And I was not familiar with this concept. It was kind of a grope room.
A grope room?
A grope room, you know, where, and we were, you know, the first couple of minutes were fine. And then one guy took exception to us, the two females in the room. And I don't know, he thought we had some kind of nefarious intentions because he got hostile. And I don't feel in danger very often. I have a high tolerance for, oh, this could get bad. But I said to my friend, we gotta go. Because it was, at that time, I just felt, this is not a good scene. This was
not a good scene, yeah.
Not advisory for me to be there.
But anyway, I love Spain. I just love Spain.
Oh, Spain is
the food is incredible. You know, the paella. Remember I took you to that place on the beach?
Right at Cal de Hort.
Yeah, Cal de Hort. And you saw Vedra, those two big rocks coming out of the water.
That is a mystical place.
It's mystical.
Really is.
It is mystical. I used to climb.
I
don't think I took you, but I climbed up to there's a tower on the hill, and I used to climb up there all the time when I'd go over there. Yeah, and I knew at one point there was a woman I knew who actually lived in it. By the time I went the next time, they had closed it down and taken it over as a government subsidized landmark or something like that.
Yeah, a lot of those.
But I would go up there, and it was so mystical, and it gave me. I wish I could walk up there now. I don't think I can because it's a pretty heavy walk. But it did something to me in my core that lasted with me for years after I'd be there. You know, it was just very mystical, very mystical.
Well, I had a real moving feeling. We were on a tour of Rome, which if you want to go, expect to take half an hour to go 2.5 miles, because I can speak with experience. But we were taking a tour, and she took us on a small tour. I'm pointing to a small section of like 2 homes, and I took a picture of the door, number 19, because that was the last Jewish or tolerated Jewish community that they kept track of before World War II. This was her story when the Jews were being driven out of Rome, that they were somehow allowed to stay in one house, and then of course that was taken over too. But it was, you could feel so much history in that. I just stood before that door, because a door, your house represents home and familiarity and comfort and security. And
I hate to say this, but we've run out of time. So next time we'll come back and continue with your voyage.
Okay.
Okay. Hope everybody's enjoyed our little travelogue today. And that's Lori Thompson. Thank you, darling.
Thank you. I missed you.
Mwah.
Now in its 10th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right, okay. I don't know what happened. I tried to get this other one to work, and it wouldn't work. What's wrong with it? Oh, I know it. I bet I know what the problem is. Let me just see something here for a second. If you don't mind, I just like to always make sure that I've got things working okay. And I go show progress, okay? Let me see here. Show volume sliders. That's what the problem is. The volume slider was not up, I guess, but I can't get it to go up, so I guess forget it. I'll worry about it tomorrow, okay? I can solve these things when I'm not having to do them while I'm sitting on the air here. Anyway, hi, how are you? Well, I hope tonight's goes a little better than last night's. I was somewhat dismayed by last night for several reasons. And the first of which was, and it's very important to me, that I'm able to do my show the way I've been able to do my show throughout my entire life. And a part of that is that I used to brag about the fact that I could, if I wanted to, just talk for 4 hours straight and not to have a caller, not to have anybody to talk to, but just the fact that I bragged that I could take that long to talk. And last night I found out I'd lost that ability. I tried to do about 25 minutes talking about, the new administration and things like that, and I just found that I couldn't get it together just right, like I wanted it to, like I would have in the old days. So that kind of bothered me, and that's making me begin to feel that I've lost my ability to do a program like I want to do a program and like I was able to do it in the past. And that was the first thing that bothered me. Then I went on to doing the show, and we had somebody call who luckily I put my video on by myself, and the caller was somebody who had a video that was filthy and dirty, and when I hit to kill it, I hit the wrong button and got rid of the entire panel that we had waiting here to go on. So that got to me. So then I got them back, and then a certain somebody couldn't get themselves on the air because they didn't have a code that had been sent to my computer, and I get a message that before that show can be done, I've got to do that. And now I'm having to deal with the show that comes on after me as opposed to the show I'm doing right now. And God knows, as I told you, the first half hour was bad enough that I couldn't get through a half hour easily, okay? And then I suddenly find that I can't double task and take care of that person and what's going on the air here. I just, it bothers me because I've always been very proud of my work and the ability of me to do it. And when I find that I'm not up to task to do it, it bothers me greatly. And so I'm kind of very sensitive about the whole thing. And I don't know. I just don't know. I'm beginning to think that maybe I got to take a couple of weeks off here and rethink what we're going to do. I also notice that the numbers of people who are listening every night have gone down immensely. I just noticed that tonight. So it's very important that here's something that just came through here. Wait a minute, hold on a second. Trump administration is moving to deport migrants who were allowed into the U.S. temporarily under Biden-era programs, an internal memo says. So, anyway, that's just more crap from a guy who's used to doing crap. Anyway, so, and I come here at night and I'm tired and, I have to rethink what I'm doing here. I have to rethink how we're doing it, how long I'm doing it, when I'm doing it, a lot of those things. I won't do that immediately, but I think we may in a couple of weeks take a week or two off to just figure out what to do, okay? And tell that I got a tooth bothering me tonight. Okay, anyway, that's okay. There's always something going wrong, Let me bring these people in. They're just a handful of people. Let me see here. Here's Charlie Wallace, Jeff Stein, and Kevin. Kevin's there, and yeah. Okay. All right. So, are you okay, Jeff?
I'm fine.
Yeah, you're fine. See? Bravo.
What do you expect?
Hello, Charlie. How you doing? Oh, Charlie hasn't got his microphone on yet. He's connecting his audio. There he is. Hi, Charlie.
Hi, guys.
Okay, and hello to Kevin as well.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's evening.
Just seeing if you're awake.
Huh? Oh, yeah. Okay. All right.
Just checking to see if you're awake.
Yes, well, it won't be morning for another hour and a half here, at least. Here comes Brian Neary, ladies and gentlemen, who we always enjoy having here. You always like to do that, don't you, Brian?
No, I don't. That way.
I know. You're just getting older.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Yeah. So anyway, how are you guys
I
doing?
had a comment to make about your little thing there just a minute ago about, being able to double task and things like that. How old are you? I'm not even going to bother with that, but you're doing fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I do that crap and I'm only 67.
Yeah. Well, you know.
Yeah,
It's just it bothered me last night that I could usually do a half hour and not stumble or do anything. I just, rolled out of my mouth. And I could keep doing that till about 5 years ago. And now that doesn't seem to be the case any longer. I mean, maybe
It's probably because you're not as involved outside. You probably don't have people to interview all the time and things like that. And you start losing, your what do you call it? You're not loaded up with info.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and if you were doing more interviews like you always used to do, and because I remember you used to just go on you could go 4 hours, no problem.
Yeah. I don't think
nobody was there.
I don't think I could do 4 hours anymore. I have this guy, Walter Sabo, who likes me every now and then to do his show on a network that he has.
The hour-long one.
Yeah, the 3-hour-long one. And
was it 3 hours?
Yeah, the last time I told him, I said, I just can't do it. I said, it's 10 o'clock at night. I don't get off till 1, and I got to do 3 hours.
Well,
and I just don't know if I have it in me to do 3 hours anymore. Tom, you have your hand up.
I do have my hand up, and I'm not muted, which is good.
Yeah.
So, lower my hand.
Yeah.
So I'd just like to throw in my 2 cents, if it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Well, last night actually I missed most. I had a meeting, so I got home in the middle, so I missed a lot of it. I guess I came in when Tony was
Oh yeah, that's the other
very
thing that went on
Tony
last
was
night.
being very
That was
very disrespectful of Don, and I was really upset about that.
well.
Uh,
It upset me too, and that was just one more thing that went wrong last night.
Mhm.
You know.
So let me get back to what I see, and and as the problem is that you're trying to do too much. You're not only being a broadcaster, but you're trying to be a producer. More than that, you're trying to actually run a network, and it's just more than one person can handle. I mean, can you imagine being back at the Quake or Live 105 and actually clearing your own calls? No, you didn't do that. You had a producer to do that.
Yeah.
And so, if you had the resources to do a good program, you probably could do 4 hours or so.
Yeah.
But it's too much to ask
No,
of one person to do.
you're quite right. I mean, if I had a Albert Reynoso sitting here running the board and everything like that,
I
then it
hear
might.
Phil's available.
Huh?
Phil's available.
Phil's available, right?
It'll really run you nuts.
Yeah. Bree's eating, so let's not bother him while he's eating.
Let's talk
Hey,
about bodily
Alex, somebody
function.
in the chat was saying that they couldn't see everyone. They were only seeing you. I don't know
Oh,
if that's
okay.
true.
See, that's another thing I do here that's all screwed up. I shouldn't. I
Well,
forgot to go to Zoom.
and mine, I'm not eating. I'm done, by the way. Although I could have another yogurt because it's bottomless yogurt for a diet.
Bottomless
Um,
yogurt?
Yeah.
Is there such a
Go
thing
ahead,
as?
get another spoon, and we'll talk about bodily functions.
Yeah.
Oh no. I see.
The tie, I see the tie.
No, the only thing I never liked about yogurt, it looks like it should be coming out of you rather than going in.
Or in between your toes.
Okay, so basically you're saying I can't have another yogurt.
You can't have another yogurt?
That's what you're telling me. You're saying you're going to ruin it.
Oh, no. Go ahead. Have your damn
right ahead,
yogurt.
and I'll take a live shot into the
in
bathroom.
this hour, let's see how many things of yogurt you can eat.
No, I already had 3.
Oh, well, that's a good start. So let's see if you can do 10.
No.
Just go grab another
You'll
bowl,
be
and then
pooping
I'll
for
take
a
live
month.
into the bathroom.
Yeah. Anyway, I was talking to Tom here. Anyway, Tom, continue.
Well, but at least,
No, I'm finished. I'm finished. That's all I had to really say.
but Alex,
Yeah.
you don't have somebody. Okay, I have people who review me all the time, and so I'll get. Last year I had great feedback, and then this year nobody really wants to do it. But a couple people do, and then it's bad, and then I got to deal with that. And so you don't have somebody on your case. You're your own boss. You do what you want to do. So see that as a big positive.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
But the other thing is you don't do a show like what used to make. You're right. You used to be able to talk for an extended period of time. That's why I tuned in.
Yeah.
I just wanted to hear you talking about news of the day, things that were going on,
Yeah.
and maybe an occasional caller,
Yeah.
but not really. And so in this format, we've definitely gotten away from mass communication. We were more just like chit chatting, and it's definitely interesting and cool and different. But there are certain elements that you and I both know will bring people in. You just tune over to Mr. Beast, and you see, a lot of it is clickbait, it's fake. A lot of it is, cruddy. Some of it's authentic, that goes viral for a minute. But, I don't know if you do a 5-minute segment on, what's popular on YouTube today, or, talk soup style, then, you play into that.
Well, I don't even go viral. I barely have a cold. I mean, it's but it's just that like last night, the whole Tony thing. Oh God, that was just absurd. I mean, what did Don Giller ever do to him? I mean, Giller called up to call him on something he had said.
Yeah.
And that's reasonable, If I say something wrong, you guys have the right to tell me, hey, that's not right, and I take it with I accept what you have to say. I don't necessarily have to agree with it, but you know.
And it was just pointing out the fact that Tony's argument was totally illogical. That's
Yeah.
all he was trying to point out. He wasn't trying to take sides of the opinion or not. It's just you need evidence to show that what you're saying is,
Well,
is true.
Tony's point was last night that what's her name? Kamala Harris. Funny, I can't remember her name anymore. Kamala Harris didn't win the last, 4 years ago, didn't win the primaries. And, we tried to explain that had nothing to do with it, But no, he was set on that. And what that is that is a speaking point purely out of Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Fox was making that talking point throughout the entire Kamala Harris run for the White House. So, that she never won a primary, she failed at getting a primary. So he heard it somewhere else. And then he wouldn't budge from what he had said, So,
which is fine, but you have to respect everybody's opinion. That's all.
Well, I respect everybody's opinion. I mean, how many years have I put up with Phil Meyer? And while I told him I totally disagreed with him, I never treated him like just because I didn't agree with him that he wasn't welcome here,
Maybe once or twice.
Huh?
Maybe once or twice.
Maybe once or twice.
He kind of got thrown out once in a while.
Well, sometimes sometimes he could get out of hand, okay? But for the most part, Phil was respectful of me too,
But see, if you would have put in the title of last night's show, Tony tells Don to fuck off, maybe we would have got a lot more views.
We might have got more views.
You might have gone viral.
Yeah. Instead of like the few listeners we had last night. So
actually, Tony was just quoting the guy from the Danish politician who was telling Trump to fuck off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's another thing. A lot of these podcasts.
Huh?
A lot of these podcasts, what they'll do is they go through and edit out, those one or two moments, and then in the beginning they'll do the little teasers. I don't like it, but people do it.
Yeah. Well, I don't like this show to be contentious. I understand that if we had Fist Fight Radio going on here, we would probably get more listeners than the way we do it. But I never liked Fist Fight Radio, so I did that.
I gotta go.
Well,
what?
I
gotta go.
I know, and I was down in Houston, Texas. I did Fist Fight Radio. I was just contentious all the time, and everybody hang up, get off the phone, you jerk, and things like. And I never liked doing it. It just wasn't me. So I haven't done Fist Fight Radio in years, and I don't intend to do it now just to get some people to listen to me on something that makes me no money at all anyway. There's this documentary on HBO. Its first 2 episodes are out right now it's a documentary. It's an HBO documentary about this woman and her husband who had this YouTube channel where she was always talking about getting pregnant and having babies and so on, and it got to be very, very popular. She was getting, because they would just sit there and go, "Oh, I'm having a baby. Watch me have my baby. Oh, look, now we're raising our children." And and they had this whole thing with them and their family and what was going on. And
Is that the Duggar family?
The Duggar? No, it's not the Duggars. God forbid it was the Duggars. But
we're going to get to the incest scenes.
And they got to a point where they were making so much money with this because they would do 10 million views on YouTube per episode. You know how much that gets you? Right there, that's like 10 million views is $40,000 for one episode.
Wow.
Okay.
Jeez.
And they were making a fortune. And then they became influencers. So then they had advertisers on the show. So that gave them even more money. And they were making a fortune. And so she had like 2 kids. And then they said, well, what are we going to do now? And they said, let's adopt a child. So then they went and adopted a child in China. And they brought the kid over. And people were upset about that because the kid seemed to not want to go with them. He had a foster mother, and he was very happy with her. And they just dragged him away from her. And so people kind of got down on them for that. And then the kid turns out to have she turns out to be autistic. The one they became adoptive parents of. But they admitted that to their audience and so on. And all of a sudden, one day, and this is the end of episode 2, and episode 3 is until next week, at the end of the episode, all references to this kid disappear. And all episodes that contain the child disappear.
Uh-oh.
And nobody knows what happened. So we'll find out next week, folks. But that's what the internet has wrought, okay? This kind of behavior in which they felt that because they were starting to lose money, they weren't making as much money as they once were when they had the thing about her being pregnant and having a child and looking at the stick and saying, oh, we're going to have a baby, you know, that kind of stuff. That no longer was that working for them. So now an adoption, oh boy, and that was money in the bank for them. So, I mean, it's an amazing show to watch. I can't remember what the name of it is even. But it's there, and it's an HBO documentary. So if you can get HBO, you should watch it. You know, it's very weird, but it does show the disease of the internet and of influencers and you know, the whole kibosh. And it really I sat there and I got depressed because I went, these people are making, you know, $40,000 an episode, and I'm sitting here, you know, getting bupkis. Oh boy, you know.
Maybe you'll have a baby.
Yeah, have a baby.
Well, I mean, I tried to think about what could I do, you know, to you know, I get more views on those things I used to do in the park with Marjorie, which we can't do now without freezing my nuts off.
Yeah.
What nuts I have left, you know. So we used to get amazing numbers on those, and I'm going, maybe that's just what I should do. Maybe people just want to watch the two of us sitting there arguing, you know.
That's fun.
Yeah, I know. Everybody loves it. You know, I love old Alex and Marjorie, America's cutest elderly couple. You know, so anyway.
I wouldn't go that far.
So anybody have anything they want to talk about?
Oh, did you know that Jules Pfeiffer died?
Did he? When?
He died last Friday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I used to love Jules Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
You know, he was terrific. He was a cartoonist. I guess the best way to describe him. And he was wonderful. But he hasn't. Has he been working in the last many years? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
And how old?
He was in his 90s. He's one of those people who says, "Is he dead yet?" I guess not. He's not dead. Well, he's dead now.
Yeah. I mean, at some point, you know, some people, like maybe Jules Pfeiffer, decide at a certain age, hey, I've worked enough. Mm-hmm. You know, the one I remember the most was Jimmy Cagney, who decided, I'm turning 65. At 65, you retire. Mm-hmm. And he just retired. And the only reason he went back and did ragtime when he was in his 80s was his doctor said doing a movie would be good for his health. Yeah. You know? But he just quit, you know. Everybody, well, whatever happened to Jimmy Cagney? I said, he just quit.
I think 1, 2, 3 was his last movie before.
1, 2, 3. Beautiful.
1, 2, 3, and then he came back for ragtime.
And it was a tour de force on his part.
Oh, it was a great movie. It's
I mean,
one of my favorites.
It has more energy than just about any movie you'll ever watch.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
and it just
is great
it
movie.
ramps up faster and faster and faster and faster. You know,
Mhm.
it's about a guy who is the head of the Coca-Cola company in West Germany,
Yes.
whose daughter goes to East Germany and marries
Actually, it's the daughter of the boss.
of
His
the
boss's
boss. Yeah,
daughter
your boss's daughter.
goes to stay with them, and then goes and hangs out with this East German soldier.
Communist.
And
Communist.
and, and there the laughs ensue. I'll just say it that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
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 But
Well,
it's a great movie. I love that movie.
My favorite line in the whole picture is Cagney says, "To hell with Khrushchev," and the guy says, "To hell with Frank Sinatra."
Oh, I don't remember that line.
But it's a great movie if anybody gets to see it. It's hard to find these days, you know. But anyway. Anyway, so you know, there was this guy, I forgot his name again. I had it listed here, and I lost the page on it. Well, what the hell? This is the guy who had a thing called Silk Road, which was a dark site on the web, on the internet, where you could go and purchase any drug you wanted. You could purchase heroin, methamphetamines, everything, okay? And at least 5 people were known to have died as a result of using Silk Road. And so he got arrested, and he went to trial, and they sentenced him to life in prison for what he had done. And I'm trying to remember his name now. Doesn't matter really, because the only thing that matters is, guess who pardoned him?
Oh,
Trump pardoned him?
Donald Trump. Donald Trump pardoned him, and he pardoned him, according to the New York Times, because the Libertarian Party had asked him to come out to something they were doing, and they implored him to let this guy go, because they believed that it was his freedom to run a website if he wanted to run a website or something like that. And so to keep the libertarians happy, Donald Trump pardoned this guy. I think it was yesterday. You know, all the people, at one point, his people were sitting there trying to figure out, well, who are we going to give a pardon to and who aren't we going to give a pardon to? And they were trying to pick and choose, but they were getting closer to the inauguration. And finally he said to Trump, well, we don't know which of these we should do it with. He says, screw it, I'll just sign them all.
Oh.
He was too lazy to go through and pick and choose which of these people were maybe too dangerous to put back on the street again.
Wow, that's interesting, because, you know, the story, well, when his Attorney General nominee, Bondi, came up for hearings, she said specifically that after she got into the office, she and Trump are going to go over all the cases and find the ones who are nonviolent, and they would be the ones that pardon and they would make sure that no one that was violent in those protests got out. So he contradicted her, and then also Vance. Vance said the same thing.
Well,
I
he said the
remember
same-
her saying that.
He said that he was going to look at them.
Yeah, he was going to look
case by
at them
case.
on case by case. No,
Yeah.
it finally got to a point where they said, well, should we do this? Should we do that? And he said, to hell with it. Let's give them all a pardon.
you get a pardon. You get a pardon.
Yeah, you get a pardon, and you get a pardon. Yes,
It's like
Alan.
down at the fire down in L.A. They were it was getting close to the prison down there, so they were evacuating 576 prisoners.
Mhm.
And I said, just pardon them all. You won't have to put them back and just let the place burn.
Did you guys
Quick
talk
fix.
about? Did you guys talk about? Since I was late, a federal court stopped Trump from trying to change the naturally born citizens here.
Right,
Well, up in it was a Washington judge.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
A Reagan appointed judge in
Oh,
Washington.
I thought Trump appointed him. Oh,
No, it was a Reagan appointed judge. He said he could. It was just he couldn't believe it. It was just so insane.
Yeah.
Well, it's insane. It's insane because it's in the Constitution. And if you want to change the Constitution, you got to get 36 states to agree to it. you
Yeah.
know.
He also asked Congress to allow him a third term.
Yeah, there was a bill proposed in the House to.
Right, but
I'm gonna try that.
that's also
That's a constitutional
it's
amendment.
in the 22nd Amendment. Yes.
Yeah.
No,
No, before that.
Congress can't.
Before that, that
yeah,
was. I forgot.
Congress can't change it. And I believe it did. Am I right or am I wrong? Somebody said this to me that FDR is actually the guy who proposed that amendment.
No, he didn't. It was done because FDR.
It was
got
done
elected.
because of him, but I hear that he was all for it. You know. But that's a constitutional amendment in order to get rid of that.
22nd Amendment.
Yeah.
No person shall be elected to the office of president more than twice, and no person who has held the office of president or acted as president for more than 2 years or a term to which some other person was elected president shall be elected to the office of the president more than once.
Didn't Alan just say it was the 26th Amendment and somebody
It's the
that read?
22nd Amendment.
22nd.
The 26th.
Oh,
The 26th refers to
Sorry.
succession.
Sorry, I meant to say second.
Yeah. The
What was succession? What does it say?
oh no, actually it's the 25th.
Wait, what's
In
the?
case of the removal of the president from office or his death or resignation, the vice president shall become president.
Oh, that's not.
The 20,
That's
that's
not.
the 25th Amendment.
That's not till the 25th Amendment.
Yeah, that's more recent.
Oh, prior to that, what happened?
Well, basically what happened to get the 25th Amendment was that Kennedy got killed. So they were just looking at the fact that there was no mechanism for getting another vice president.
Oh, for getting another vice president. Okay.
That's the main thing. So when Kennedy was assassinated and Johnson became vice president, we didn't have another vice president until his reelection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then also in the news today, Ivanka Trump. Apparently, Trump, but Melania and Donald are putting out these coins or something like that, and her name is on one, and you get a certificate with her signature on. She said that's a fake. That's not her.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know. There should be another amendment put in the Constitution that a president, while he's in office, cannot merchandise himself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we do have the emoluments clause. So much for that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, come on. This is ridiculous.
He sounds like he's poor.
And he said the other day, they said to him, "Do you know, Mr. President, that you're you just put out those coins and they made billions?" And Trump said, "Well, I don't know anything about that."
Yeah. Right.
And
that was his Bitcoin. That was his Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Yeah.
Yeah. That wasn't his little inauguration coin that he sells for $59.99.
Oh well, that isn't going to get him billions of dollars.
No, but yeah, what you're talking about is his Bitcoin. He gained like 6 billion or something.
What is this? Official Trump? What? Official Trump? Hold it still, will you?
Yeah, no shit. It's like this going all over.
You're shaking it.
Yeah, it's gonna make me throw up.
Yeah, official. Well, are you coming down off some drug or something there, Bree? What? You're too shaking. Oh, he's on a bus or something.
Oh. Yeah.
And now he's frozen.
He's got his phone in his pants.
I don't know where how he can possibly do this. Now, what were you trying to hold up, Bree?
Now the bus has stopped at a light. If I can get it, now the bus is going.
Well, let's see,
That
Trump
says official
3301, official Trump
It's tanking.
3301. Oh, that's the Bitcoin is tanking.
Yes,
I have lost.
Coin.
I have
That's the
lost
Bitcoin?
Yeah,
20 cents,
20 cents.
maybe 18. Yesterday I was
Buy.
up 30 cents.
Time to buy.
Isn't Trump the guy who said that the Bitcoin was a fraud?
Yes.
Yeah.
God.
So he said all the oligarchs behind him were a bunch of jerks too, but when the tools work the tools, they become a toolbox.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to stop the war on day one.
Yeah.
in Ukraine, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's day 2
Well, it's
already.
not
We're
going.
counting.
It's all fake news.
He said he's going to do something about it. He's going to call Putin. Oh, yeah, that's the guy to call about that war. Yeah, who was raising their hand? Was somebody? Yeah, yes, Jeff.
You know, I remembered about what my mother would say.
Yeah.
And if he heard Trump saying what he was saying,
Yeah.
he'd get a pimple for every time he lied.
So I got right here. Jeez.
Yeah,
Yeah.
guaranteed.
Yeah, guaranteed. Well, you know, I've said about a couple of months ago when he was elected that we just weren't going to talk about him. You know,
Yeah, I'm not talking about it.
I don't want another 4 years of every night having to talk about this guy. And today I turned on MSNBC and I would swear to you that half the broadcast day was talking about Trump or showing Trump doing something. He was sitting there signing things, you know, signing away our democracy, as it were, you know, thinking that every time he writes one of those, what do they call them?
Executive orders.
Orders, that they suddenly become law. Well, you know,
Not really.
they don't necessarily become law if they are wrong, you know, and they go against the Constitution. So that's, you know, but it's getting, he already, the week isn't over, but he's dismantled most of our democracy.
Tried to.
Well, I don't know what's going through his mind. I mean, I don't understand. Well, I say I don't understand how any decent person could do this, but we're not talking about a decent person, you know? So what the hell, you know? You got some problems there, Kevin?
No.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering what you were twisting or doing there. So
No, I was just reading an email from the college.
yeah, but it's you know, it's going to be 4 years of absolute grief, and maybe we shouldn't even talk about it. Maybe all it does, you know, it's a catharsis for us. You know, it's a catharsis for you know, for Alan there to call Trump a name. You know, but in the name of catharsis, is it good of us to talk about him? I mean, somebody mentioned, I think it was Geller wrote me a note last night after last night's show. I wrote him a note saying I was sorry about what went on, and he just said, you know, if we just stop talking about this guy, it will start freezing him up. You know, he wants to be noticed constantly, and every time we talk about him, we're playing into that game.
System is that game.
What'd you
The
say?
whole system.
I can't hear you. Oh, well, now he's frozen.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
Well, what else can we talk about?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah. Well, you know why there's nothing else to talk about? Because he sucks all the air out of the room.
Yep.
And, you know, there are other things to talk about. I'm sure if we were to find things that are important to talk about, we could find them.
The stock market did good today.
The stock market did good today. Of course, that's all Trump's doing.
Yeah, right.
Not really.
Well,
My neighbor's house just burnt down.
Oh, really?
Tonight.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 4 houses down.
Oh.
Wow.
Fire department's out there right now.
Embers from the Los Angeles fire?
Meth lab.
No.
Yeah,
Those
meth
embers
lab.
really carry far, don't they?
Also meth lab.
Meth lab? Yeah.
Meth
No.
labs usually don't burn; they explode first.
Yeah.
We once saved a house from burning down.
Yeah. But anyway.
And a business.
Yeah. No, but so.
Two times.
Yeah. So you had a house burned down near you?
Yeah, just like 4 or 5 houses away.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
No idea the cause.
No, they don't know either. The people who live there, they got out with the dog. They don't know where it was from. Electrical, probably, I guess. These Eichlers are like tinder boxes.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Are they really?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Were they built?
Yeah. They're just made out of pressed wood.
And they were built cheaply.
Yeah.
How much did they originally go for back in the day? This was about the 50s?
Well, it depends what city. I mean, in Palo Alto, I think it was probably like 30 grand.
What, in the 50s?
Yeah. Which was a lot of money.
Yeah. So how much is it worth? How much is your house worth now, for instance?
4 million.
3.5 million.
Yeah.
Really?
Location.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Crazy.
well, you know.
Yeah.
How's everything in Texas, Charlie?
Finally warmed up.
Finally warmed up. You had snow there, didn't you?
Yeah, we had snow on the ground for 2 days.
Oh, wow. Now, it doesn't usually snow there, does it?
Nope.
No. Okay.
Once every 5 years.
What, 35 years?
Once every 5 years.
After every 5 years. Oh, okay. Because they had snow in Miami.
Yeah. The northern part of the state really got hit hard with snow.
That's where Lori lives. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, how's she doing?
Well, I just communicate with her occasionally, and she's waiting to get through all of her chemotherapy to start doing things with me again, because she just finds she doesn't have the energy to do it, you know. And I write her and tell her, hey, how you doing? And she's happy that I'm writing her. Sometimes I feel I'm a pest, you know. But we
love her, and we hope she's.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, I adore her. I mean, you know, as I've often described her, she was my other wife, you know, because every morning I would go to work and there she was, you know, and we were a partnership for somewhere around 10, 11 years, something like that. And I just adore the woman. I just think the world of her, and I think about her constantly with this problem she's got, which is cancer, you know. Speaking of which, I go for
she can't take the garbage out.
No, she can't take the garbage out. Monday, I go in for my yearly finger up the butt and blood draw. Two of the most wonderful things you can do to me.
Is that your dentist?
No, that's my urologist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my urologist. And hopefully there'll be no heightened PSA or anything. I think after 4 years, 5 years, I think I'm hopefully in pretty good shape, knock on wood. So
I think 5 years they consider cancer cured.
Yeah.
Managed.
So well, this will be 5 years. This will be 5 years. So
I'm sure you'll be fine.
Well, he told me, he said, if you don't start showing anything by about 3 years, you're probably not going to come up with it at all. So
Hello?
Again, knock on wood. What? Who said hello?
Oh, Ray got a call.
Oh, Ray got a call. Oh boy.
His fire department.
So how's your lovely daughter? How's Adrian?
She's good. She has her first competition of the season this weekend.
Competition in what?
Dance.
Oh, dance competition. Okay.
Yeah, so she has Saturday. She has her team dances, four dances there, and then she has her solo on Sunday morning. So pretty excited.
Yeah.
It's always like the first one, because like we've seen like the the videos of them like warming, like going through the dance, so they have something to practice to and stuff like that. But then to be on stage with the big crowd, and then all the girls all dressed, in their costumes, and then she does lyrical this year again, so that's a tearjerker for me. And then Sunday she has her solo.
What do you mean? What do you mean? It's a tearjerker for you?
Because those are like Adele songs, and these very emotional songs, and all the girls are in dresses, and the lyrical songs. So
wow.
And then she actually picked the lyrical song for her solo. So that's like, I'll be in the back row with my tissues. So
where's it being held?
Santa Clara Convention Center.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. So it's and the parent, when they do the stuff, because now the parents will see the whole thing, and then it's such a big crowd, and first time to see this year's dances. Then it's like, after that, it's like we're all relieved. Like, okay, good. They got the first one done, and then let's keep going. So yeah.
Yeah, Marjorie and I were talking about you today, and what a really great father you are.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, I think people who have kids later in life make better parents than the ones that have them younger in life.
Yeah, I don't. I mean, everybody has their life and stuff happens, and I just know that I couldn't have been there for her when I was younger. So
yeah, you were too selfish.
Yeah.
I mean,
and now it's like, yeah. So now it's very, very different now. So
how did you feel when you first found out you were going to have a child? Did it scare you? Did it scare you?
No, because Tiffany had two before, so it was. So I was confident with all that stuff. She knew what to do and everything. So
yeah, but I'm talking about just you being a father.
Yeah.
Gary.
Yeah. What's funny is one of my best friends had a child, and we're the same age. He maybe had her. She's like 7 years older than Adrian. Actually, maybe 10 years older. So we went to his birthday party, and like everybody's, oh, he's such a good dad, such a good dad. And so when I saw that, then when I had Adrian, is like, that's what I want. I want everybody to say I was a good dad. So that's like, when you go in life, you want certain things. I've done a lot of stuff at my work and my company and stuff like that, but I want to be known as a good dad. So.
Well, I see her with you, and she absolutely adores you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She'll be the first 15-year-old in her class to be driving a McLaren.
Which your father bought her. Yes.
Of course.
Right.
Or she inherited when I die.
Yeah. Right.
No, she's really good. I mean, I couldn't be happier. She has a very, very good heart. I mean, the thing that tears me up right now is Tiffany's putting her in the middle of everything, so that's like hell. But she has a very, very good heart. She knows she's very, very kind.
What do you mean by she's putting her in the middle of everything? Just
a lot of family stuff right now. So
I mean, she's kind of not trying to kind of use her against you or something.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, yes.
I think that's wrong of any parent.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but the good thing is that Adrian's very smart, and I've heard a lot of my friends say that the kids, as they get older, they see stuff. And one of my friends, actually she's an ex-girlfriend of mine from a long time ago, she has a kid, and she says her child is going through the same thing, and she says she will see with her own eyes what's going on and who's the one that's talking all this stuff and all that stuff. So so I think she knows. She knows.
Yeah. Well,
but it's still hard for me because things that happened in the past, and so.
Well, it's sad. It's sad that if there's a breakup, it has to be acrimonious.
Yeah. I'll tell you from experience, it's very true.
Really? What, you've gone through it?
Oh yeah. My older kids now.
Yeah.
Really understand. I almost feel like I have a better relationship with them than her parents do. Her mom does.
Yeah.
But in my like you said, having a kid later, I've had both. I had a kid early.
Yeah.
And then we waited 18 years, got remarried, and I had another one about the same time. Near each other.
And were you a better father the second time around?
Absolutely.
See?
I wasn't working so hard.
Jeff, how
I
many
didn't work
kids?
14, 15 hours a day and have my kid yanking on my pants. Don't go to work. Don't go to work.
Well, Adrian wants to go to work with me all the time. So.
Yeah. Jeff, how many kids do you have?
I have 3,
Yeah.
and 2 of them I had with my first wife,
Yeah.
and then 1 with Pam,
Yeah.
and his substantial ages.
Yeah. Were you a
Yeah.
better father the second time around?
Well, at the time when he was really born, I pretty much had that stroke when he was, a couple of years younger.
Yeah.
And I think it challenged himself. And he became very tight with his mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now he's really, at this point, he's becoming much mature and working with me.
Yeah. How old is he?
Anything we can. Yeah,
How old is he now?
30, 33 or something like
Yeah.
that.
Is he married? Does he have
About the
kids?
same,
No, no married. He says he's never going to get married.
Why does he say he's never going to get married?
I don't.
Women are too controlling.
I don't. He says part of the world is going to be destroyed so badly.
Well, I hate to admit it, but don't tell Marjorie this, okay? But this is probably the best marriage I've had.
Oh, yeah.
Because this is the one where I was a little older and more mature, and it's just worked out better for both of us, And while we could tell you, oh, we yell at each other and scream at each other every now and then, who doesn't, And I love her to death, and it's but don't tell her that, okay? Because I don't want her to get too confident, okay?
Not a big head. Okay.
Yeah. I get to see both of them together, and they're a pretty good group.
Yeah.
You and
Well, yeah, we're okay. I mean, I got damaged good. She's always going to the doctor, but outside of that, I have a warranty, so if anything happens to it, I can get my money back. So.
I guess this is the longest marriage you've had. I mean, in terms of actually being together.
Well,
right?
Let me see here. Yeah.
Except, I remember you said that you, with your third wife, you actually remained married to her for a number of years after you separated. Correct?
Yes.
Was that Ronnie?
No, that was Susan.
Ronnie was before that.
Ronnie was before that. Yeah.
And I think it was for financial reasons, as you said.
She needed taking care of. Okay, and I just felt, I felt honorable about it. So, and there was a point at which it finally, my business manager and a lot of other people said, enough is enough already. It's time for you to get on with your life. So I freed myself up, and I never got married again for, until I met up with Marjorie. So it was 15 years that I wasn't married. So
How long have you and Marjorie been married?
We've been married, I think we're going on 10 years, 10, 11 years.
11, yeah.
11, yeah.
Great.
I'm trying to remember, when did we get
I
married?
thought it was 2012 when y'all got married.
Or 2012 when we got married? It could have been
When
2012.
did you see Napoleon?
That had probably 2012. Yeah, I have to look it up.
No, something like that. Yeah, because
You know how I
came out to Oakland. You saw Napoleon, and then you went up to Lake Tahoe when you got married.
Well, what I do is I go to my photographs here, and then I look at our wedding pictures, and then I can tell you exactly the date that it was. I think it was 2012. So we've been married about 13 years this year, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
And boy, well, it's time to get a divorce, I think, actually.
But y'all were together for like 5 years before that.
Yes, we were. We started dating each other in about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
About 20 years ago, yeah.
Because you just referred to her as girlfriend on your Sirius XM.
Yeah, I don't think I even do that anymore. You know. It's funny, I have that sign off I always use, which is if you see her, tell her I love her.
Yeah.
And she says, I always think that's so sweet when you do that. I said, well, I never invented it for you. I've been doing it since I was working at Live 105 in San Francisco.
Don't admit
You're
that.
number 4.
Don't say that.
I said, and I think it was, and she knows the girlfriend that I was going with at the time, and I think I said it because of her. But then after that, I kept saying it no matter what, you know. And so
You should have run with those credits. I tell you, you should have
Yeah,
just
no.
said, yeah. It was all
That's a WMCA good guys thing.
no, it isn't. No, it isn't.
No, I mean the idea of using a tagline, look out street, here I come.
Yeah, I used what there. I used today's the first day of the rest of your life. I think that was it. You know, Namaste, New York. And, you know, that was during my hippie days. But when I finally went to San Francisco and I started doing radio in San Francisco, I figured I had to come up with something new, you know. And one day, because I was feeling bad about having broken up with my girlfriend, I went, if you see her, tell her I love her, and that stayed. And that stayed whether that woman hasn't been in my life for 25 years now, you know.
Think of all those people telling her you love her
Yeah.
when they see her.
Yeah. So, but
Hey, Alex loves you.
Yeah, but I've always kind of liked it, you know. So,
fire department Ray calling you?
No, sorry, it's my anesthesiologist because I'm supposed to have knee surgery tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, they'll turn that off halfway through. It's not covered.
Yeah.
United Healthcare. Yeah, they do that.
Yeah.
Well, she
That's why
might
they
cancel
call
it. She might cancel it because I had
left.
pneumonia. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're still going to do it?
She's not sure. She has to talk to the surgeon.
What do you mean? You get all amped up because you got to be operated on tomorrow, and then they say, "Well, we're not
They
gonna
do that.
it today."
It drives you nuts. They do that.
I've been a wreck for the last week because of this mentally.
Yeah.
And now I find out last minute it might not happen.
Yeah, that's what they do.
Yeah, that's life.
And I won't know till tomorrow morning, like an hour before the surgery.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. That's
Yeah,
terrific.
Yeah, just take it as
You're
it
laying
comes,
there
I
with your
guess.
ass hanging out of a gown, and they're saying, "Oh, we're not going to do it today."
That's exactly what might happen.
And you don't have to stop eating a day before or something?
Yeah.
Midnight.
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 Yeah.
Yeah, on top of it, you're starving and pissed off.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And I can't booze up.
Yeah.
Where's Luigi when we need him?
Yeah.
You know. I mean, it's.
Did they solve the
anymore.
nickel allergy thing you were talking about here?
Yeah. So I think what it is when they use the robot, they have to use a special implant that goes with the robot, and the implant itself may have some nickel in it, and that's the problem.
Oh, okay. Well, then
Yay.
Not the one they're recalling right now.
Excitement.
use a dime instead. Anyway,
Okay.
listen, that's it. That's our music playing. It's been tonight's been okay. Tonight it's worth living again.
Good.
You know. Boy, last night, I'm telling you.
You were pissed off.
I was pissed off through the whole show. Tom Yamaguchi, thank you so much for calling. It's always a pleasure when you're here. Same with you, Kevin. Same with you, Charlie. Brian, and not so much. Anyway, no, I think
Fuck
the world,
off, Alex.
I think the world. I think the world of you, Brian. Jeff, my best to Pamela. Also, thank you to Ray Renati. Thank you to Alan. And what are you holding up there?
The year is
Big Chinese New Year.
It's a Chinese New Year. Gungay Fat Choi.
Are you in China?
It's something like that. Anyway, everybody give a big wave goodbye, and I'll give a big wave goodbye at you. There they go, ladies and gentlemen. That's our citizen panel for tonight. There's a new one being assembled right after this with Amy Manuel in the intersection. You'll call her on Skype at, let's see here. Oh, yeah, at Gabnet Live. Anyway, I'll see you again tomorrow night. Same time, same station in life. And as I always say, if you see her, Tell her I love her, okay? Good night, everybody.